Okay, so for week 12 of Winter Anime, we finally finished the Winter 2021 season. A very great season, actually. A lot of cool shows, continuations of shows, and then they all kind of ended off, like very nicely, either with some good emotional moments, good story progression, good action, or teasing for future seasons. So yeah, really happy with the season. There was like a lot to go through, like a bunch of season twos, a bunch of isekais. But yeah, pretty happy with how everything turned out. Maybe besides like the Promised Neverland, of course, because season two was so trash. Like season one, you could have just like did nothing, like did the bare minimum and kept the same level of tension. But no, like the story was bad, no character development, no tension at all. Just like felt like everything resolved itself like really mediocrely. So yeah, that's pretty unfortunate. But regardless, like very hype selection of shows we had this season. Okay, starting off with Jujutsu Kaisen, episode 24. This is the finale, and I mean, I guess we end the season off with one more hype fight. Why not? So it's Nobara and Yuji. They're facing off against these two cursed spirits. It's the JoJo character Esso. He's really muscular, and then the green dude who has two mouths. His name is Kechizo, and we get kind of a rundown on their origins. So they had a third brother named Choso, and they're all three are from like a cursed womb. So once upon a time, there was this woman. She could give birth to cursed spirits. So then the people in the village kind of hated on her, called her weird because she gave birth to this thing and then it died. So yeah, she ran away from the village. She found refuge with the Jujutsu sorcerer. His name is Kamo Noritoshi, and that name sounds familiar because it's similar to the dude who had the blood technique that fought Megami. But yeah, Kamo was evil, and all the families hated him. But then, yeah, he did like human experiments and stuff. So when a woman came to him, he impregnated her 9 times and aborted them each time. So basically, there's 9 cursed fetuses, and each of them is like a S grade spirit. So yeah, we see 3 of them so far. So then yeah, that explains how Mahito had like a collection of them. And yeah, he gave birth to these brothers. We also see a new character, Choso, who he's chilling with all the cursed spirits, so he's not fighting, but his brothers Esso and Kechizo are. So then they're chasing after Yuji and Obara. Esso, he has like this blood technique where he just shoots his blood around everywhere and it's like flying. So they try to run away from him. Nobara can't run that fast, so Yuji grabs her and then they both run together and escape. But then they meet up with Kechizo, who throws up his burning blood onto Yuji. So it kind of hurts and stings his face and arms. And then Esso also targets Nobara. So they both have blood all over their bodies. And then they activate their technique, Rot Decay. So their body is basically poisoned, and they're about to die in like 10 to 15 minutes, just like dissolve into like skeletons. So then Novara pulls out her technique, because it's the perfect counter to this type of curse, where she uses her resonance. So we saw this earlier, where she can stab her needle at an object, and if she activates resonance, it reflects that curse back to its user, and it interacts with different objects different ways. So if she uses it on like this cursed blood that's in her body, then the other 2 dudes will get the decay technique as well on them. So she's literally stabbing needles into her arm. It's very metal, seeing Novara go all out like this. So yeah, she's in so much pain, but she's like, yo, let's play a game of chicken. Who can withstand this pain first? So yeah, Novara straight up stabbing needles in her arms, while these 2 dudes are like in pain. But then they're like, oh no, yo, we're S grade, we can deal with this. But it slows them down a bit, which gives Yuji the opportunity to beat up on them. So Yuji fights Kechizo. He's just punching him so hard. The choreography of Yuji and Nobara fighting was like amazing. Nobara with her needles and Yuji just like brawling all out. So then he beats up on Kechizo. They switch targets, so Nobara's going on the weakened one, and Yuji's fighting Esso, the JoJo guy. Yuji continuously fighting him, punching the wall while Esso dodges. So yeah, very smooth choreography. And then yeah, Nobara's like weakening them by like continuously putting needles in her arm. And then she's about to kill Kechizo, the dude that Yuji weakened. And then Esso sees this and he like feels emotion. He's like, "That's my brother, no." And then he instinctively releases the rot technique, so Nobara's needles don't work anymore. But then it's too late. Nobara stabs him with the needle and activates her new move, Hairpin, which just blows up the needle inside of the person, and fills it with cursed energy. So Kechizo is destroyed. Eso is like really angry, and then Yuji hits Eso with the black flash and takes his arm off. So yeah, great showcase by both of them. I think the main thing here is that we see that these dudes are like human bodies that ingested these cursed fetuses. So it's like Yuji feels kind of conflicted, like these guys actually have emotions and stuff. So, even though they're evil, we gotta kill them. It's like there's some conflict going on there, because Yuji wants to save people. Anyway, Eso attempts to escape, but Nobara uses resonance on his arm, the straw doll technique, to weaken him. And then Yuji hits him with another black flash. So back-to-back black flashes. This seems to be his go-to move now to beat stronger spirits. So yeah, I'm down with that. Like, it does not seem to be the final move in his arsenal, so like he definitely will get more power-ups, but for now it's like black flash spam by Yuji. So Yuji, Nobara, Megami, all three of them in a row beat an S grade spirit each. So that's like big clout right there, and shows kind of how strong these people can be. Nobara as well, like we didn't see how strong she was compared to Megami and Yuji, but now all three of them got like some cool power showcasing here. So after they beat the cursed spirits, Yuji and Nobara go look to find Megami. They're walking and talking because Yuji feels kind of conflicted. He's like, "Hey Nobara, how do you feel about like taking these guys' lives since they had a human host?" And Nobara's like, "It's part of the job. Like you don't have to worry about it too much because, first of all, we don't have like the power to like restrain them. So like they're about to kill us, so it's like we have to kill them." So yeah, it conflicts with Yuji since he wants to save everyone. But yeah, Nobara's outlook does make sense. As they go find Megami, he's sleeping. And then they find him with the cursed finger. So, job well done. And he entrusts the finger to Yuji, but he's like, "No, don't eat it though." And Yuji's like, "Nah, I won't eat it." And then when he was gonna reach out for the finger, Sukuna just like makes a mouth in his hand and eats the finger. And then yeah, Yuji gets a power up, so we have 3-finger Yuji right here. But yeah, job well done. As we end Jujutsu Kaisen with the final like epic fight. We had the Megami fight before this, and then Yuji and Nobara just showing us their techniques. It was a pretty sick seeing Nobara's like expression, her sadistic face as she stabs herself with these needles. So yeah, the episode concludes with like an epilogue showcasing like what all the characters are doing now. So Gojo and Utahime, they seem to be planning like a party to gather all these students, maybe to chill. Everyone seems to be busy, so it's hard to do this, but also Gojo wires money to Meimei, 10 million yen to find a traitor. And Meimei's that white-haired girl we saw, so she has some importance. Yuji and Megami have some interesting outlook, where they're both, they don't want to tell each other how they feel about Yuji having the finger, and like, because Yuji swallowed the finger, people are getting hurt. Megami wants to save people, but the fact that Megami saved Yuji means like more people are getting hurt. And then Yuji swallowed the finger to save Megami, so he doesn't want Yuji to feel guilty either. So they both have the same opinion on these conflicting things, but they don't want to talk to each other about it. After that, we get Todo and Mei. They're talking to that principal from the Kyoto school. And then he's saying that we recommend Yuji, Nobara, Megami, Maki, and Panda to be promoted to grade 1 sorcerers. So that's really sick from them. They beat an S grade spirit, they fought them really well. And then they're strong enough to be promoted. Like this is like their first and second years, but yeah, they're promoted so quickly. It's interesting because Inumaki wasn't included in these promotions, so I guess he's not as physically adept as these guys, or maybe his power is like not strong enough yet. So they probably didn't include him for a reason. And then we finally end the season with the 3 main characters. They get a call from Gojo for a top secret mission, as we end the show with a to be continued. So hey. That definitely means there will be a season 2. Either like in a year or 2 years, like take your time, because animators, you did your job. Like this action, these fighting scenes, like people were brawling, throwing hands. It was just like so well done, so addicting to watch every week, just to see how like they can escalate these fights, these powers. Just like really good. Everything was very well done. The music, the fighting, the story, the characters, they all like culminated into making a great shonen anime. So like, I mean, I guess like the standouts were basically like, besides all the action and fighting, even besides all that, there were like great characters. It's like we saw like our main cast of school kids, Yuji, Nobara, Megami, and then like they introduced more characters. There's like all the adults and teachers as well as the other schools. So they all had like cool ways to use their cursed powers. You could compare it to like Demon Slayer, where you saw the pillars, or like Naruto where you saw like the everyone in the Chunin exams, or like My Hero where you saw like the different classes of heroes. So character introductions were great. They all showcased their power as well, and then room to like showcase more. After that, the story was like pretty interesting. So it was like dudes fighting spirits, this like supernatural type of vibe, which is similar to like stuff like maybe Yu Yu Hakusho and Bleach. They're scrapping very hard. The fights are raw, where like people channel their cursed energy in creative ways, and then most of them are they're just like brawling. So fights get really exciting. Like Gojo's still really strong, and we see all the villains planning stuff in the background. So like there's so much more room to go on from here. So great first season. I guess the second half we had in the winter was just like, we had the Hanami fight, which was the highlight of the season, but then there was also all the fights in the beginning in the between the school kids, and then this final fight to wrap up with the Yuji Nobara Megami fighting S grades. So just like everything here is there to keep you excited. Music is just like so amazing, so I can't wait for that OST to officially drop. And yeah, if you aren't watching Jujutsu Kaisen, well, now you have no excuse. The anime is over, so feel free to binge as much as you like. Also, there's gonna be a movie coming out, so cool. It's a Jujutsu Kaisen Zero, I think. So it's pretty much a prequel. It's gonna be. So I guess we'll learn more about like the world, maybe like some of the villains before everything happened, because we didn't have room for it in season one. So I hope that releases outside of Japan like in a decent amount of time. And then we ended off there as probably one of the best shonen seasons I've seen in my recent years. Okay, so for Dr. Stone, The Stone Wars, episode 11. This is the finale, and pretty emotional, very like nice way to end the season. I feel like 90% of the people that were watching this were just like crying at one point. But yeah, basically they end off with rescuing Tsukasa. Hyoga and Homura get put into jail. Senku doesn't really want to execute them. He's like, let's wait to rebuild society and then we can have judges and stuff. I'm not really interested in that. So yeah, they're in jail as of now, so they got away kind of soft. The Kingdom of Science and Tsukasa's forces are kind of like working together now. They're reviving more people. They actually revived like a manga artist, so Senku's bringing back entertainment as well. We see like that reporter lady with the horns. She's actually like pretty good at like knowing who to revive since she has like intel on everyone. And then yeah, Tsukasa's sister is also like rescued, but she's really concerned about Tsukasa. The main thing here is like there's like a hole in his lungs. So yeah, Senku's super gluing it. So they bought him some time, but it's not enough. So he'll probably die to sepsis in a few days. So then he kind of has a redemption moment where, yeah, he did some wrongs, but he remembered everyone he killed, all those statues he destroyed. He's like, I'll give you a list of their names and locations. Like we knew he wasn't like 100% evil, just like he was kind of misguided, I guess. And now that him and Senku are back reunited, they're like friends again. The thing is, since he only has a few days left to live, Senku's motivations change. He's thinking, hey, that stone, the petrification, it heals all wounds when you unfreeze. So our plan is to find the source of the petrification. We can petrify Tsukasa, bring him back, and his lung is back to normal. So this is kind of cool, because if you actually like find the petrification system, you can literally cure all wounds, so no one will die basically, besides of old age, because you could always just petrify them and cure them. So it's kind of interesting advancement of medicine if they actually do find it. Senku's dad told him like the location of it when they were in outer space. It was like in the southwestern side of the world. So yeah, they have to travel probably towards the American continent, I guess. So then that's probably going to take weeks or months to find this petrification thing to save Tsukasa's life. So we have a new goal. And then the thing is like, what is Tsukasa going to do if he's going to die in a few days? Well, we will freeze his body and preserve him. So yeah, Tsukasa will still be dead, but his body's frozen so it doesn't decompose. So yeah, they build a refrigerator. It's like this wooden box with the two tubes. And the tubes pump air between each other with the gold wire. So then those pumps like remove all the heat. So it's basically just like pure coldness there. And then yeah, their plan is to preserve Tsukasa in the refrigerator. Hopefully it doesn't break or anything. And then they're going to build a boat to travel. I thought Senku would speed this up and build like an airplane and just like shoot off to America in a few days. But nah, they probably don't have the steel or power to do that. So yeah, their plans are fleshed out here. But then in the end, Senku really has to kill his boy Tsukasa to freeze him. So then they have like a talk one-on-one. It was so good, so well done. Just Senku and Tsukasa talking about life, how You know how when I first revived you, how fun that was? Us three, me, you, and Taichu, just like, in the wild, eating food. They're talking about like life, how like Tsukasa got his nickname, the primate high schooler. He gave that to himself. And then they finally ended off talking about Mario, how Mario was tripping on these magic mushrooms as Senku starts crying because, yep, Tsukasa says his last words and is frozen now. So yeah, very sad, very emotional moment. It was kind of expected that this type of sadness would happen, but we got the Tsukasa redemption arc, and we have to find a way to save him. So yeah, this season was very good. Like it ended off like in a perfect kind of spot where the whole Stone Wars it was pretty quick. Just like we had to like resolve this fighting between us. We finally did through like peaceful means. No one died, and then after that, everyone's kind of reunited, and we're gonna focus on rebuilding society again. And then the main thing is that we're traveling to find the source of the petrification thing. So we're kind of switching gears. And I guess like they're trying to change things exponentially. Like, we're saving people one by one, but soon we'll like invent a system where we'll save like, thousands of people continuously until we get to that 7 billion. But as of now, we got a ship, so we got to travel to find the source of the petrification beam. So yeah, it really felt like a transition season in that sense where, we got to finish up the Stone Wars and then go to the next thing. So yeah, a very exciting season. I guess it leads room to go to a season 3 where we explore the world a little more. So yeah, the science and comedy are just like as solid as ever. Okay, so for ReZero Season 2 Part 2 Episode 12, this is the finale, and we basically have a good ending. So props to Subaru for that. So it starts with him, Beatrice, and Amelia. They all seal off the rabbits. Beatrice uses her magic to make the rabbits attack each other. And then when there's like a few rabbits left, she just transports them away in some magical dimension. So yeah, Beatrice sends the rabbits to the Shadow Realm, and everything's good. So like they have to resolve all the stuff with Roseball because like he started all of this. So Roseball's punishment is he gets punched in the face a few times, and it's all good. But yeah, seriously though, he has like a seal on his soul, so it makes it so he won't hurt anyone anymore. Well, he can still hurt people, but if he breaks that seal and hurts someone, then he's just gonna like be sent to hell, I guess. So yeah, that's like his punishment for losing the bet. Now he's a good person, hopefully. Also, he talks to Beatrice. We get some more plot details where he's telling Beatrice, okay, you're part of Subaru's squad now, but you'll never be the number one girl, because that's reserved for Amelia. And then Beatrice says, oh, it's fine, because I'm gonna compete to be number one. So Subaru's harem is just forming. We got Rem and Beatrice in the back because Amelia's number one, but, Rem is sleeping and how Beatrice is a new competition. We also find out that Rosewall's soul, it's like the soul of like the original Rosewall, and then he just keeps putting his soul into his descendants. So this Rosewall is the same Rosewall as the Rosewall from 300 years ago. It's the same dude. So yeah, that's interesting. Might have some significance, but yeah, it's like kind of weird. This dude Rosewall is just like putting his souls into his descendants. So then after that, Amelia and Subaru kind of talk. It was pretty cute because Amelia's like, oh, I don't know where babies come from because she thought when they kissed she'd be pregnant. And Subaru's like, bruh. So yeah, innocent Amelia. I think that was the highlight of this episode, just like cute Amelia. But then after that, they kind of have like a celebration. Subaru gets knighted, so that's pretty cool. I guess my dude deserves it. He's Amelia's first and only knight. And he dedicates his life to her, promises not to leave her, always stick by her, help her with her problems. So, Subaru's wedding at the end, happy ending there. So yeah, we end the season. The very cool levels of character development and emotional moments, as always for ReZero. Each episode was very decent in fleshing out the characters, and learning more about people's backstories. It still suffers the same problems as season 1 and like the rest of this anime where, the world is like never fully explained. They're sprinkling details, and we can infer stuff very easily, like how Rosewall, the way he talks is similar to that dude Regulus. So they're probably like two people in one body. Stuff about Amelia's past, like how Puck is related to Fortuna, probably the same person, and then Amelia's half witch, and then she knows some of the other witches. So all that stuff is there, but it's never like fully explained. Like we know Pandora is super evil, but we don't know her intentions either. And then the level of character development we got, it was great because everyone really changed into a good person. But, it's like Subaru's like really strong and powerful this second part of the season where he knows what to do. But like imagine he goes back to suffering next season. All that character development is going to be gone down a drain. So yeah, that's like stuff I'm worried about. where it's like, okay, cool season, wrapping up like the first part of season 2, but in a new season, like all this work's probably gonna be for nothing. Like I feel like we're so far away from like any good conclusion at all. But despite that, if you really like the kind of characters we got this season, like Otto, Beatrice, Amelia, Garfield, Elsa, they all had their moments. So the episodes individually were like really strong. But then like looking at the whole season, it's like we haven't really covered any ground yet. So yeah, we end the season there on a happy ending. There's definitely more to come, but yeah, Amelia's getting stronger now, more independent, and I guess she has more competition now as Subaru's harem is also growing. Okay, so for Attack on Titan, the final season, episode 16, this is the finale, but before that, we have a part 2 coming up next year, next winter. So that's a long time to wait. But hey, more Attack on Titan, this will probably be the final season. So yeah, the fact that they called this the final season was pretty much a joke since there's more to come. But yeah, they're probably just going to wrap up everything there. Since there's like a good chunk of content left remaining. So yeah, this episode starts with seeing Zeke, half of his body just cut off because he blew up from the lightning spear. We thought he would die. It looks like he's gonna die. He seems to be reminiscing about this blonde girl. And then this Titan comes. It's like a normal Titan, but it was controlled by Zeke. So he goes and rescues Zeke by taking Zeke and putting it in his stomach. Not eating it, but just like putting it inside him. So I guess Zeke is not dead yet. Pretty unfortunate to see Levi lose again because Zeke got away. After that, Yelena comes through. We see her just like basically in control of the whole army because they all have Zeke's spinal fluid. So if you make a mistake, you're gonna get turned into a Titan. So they all have to listen to her. So Yelena basically controls the whole island now. And this is the main thing because the Jaegerists, they all know the plan about being euthanized because it's like, a peaceful way to go. And I guess they're all down for it. So I'm kind of surprised how many people are down for it. But so she explains like the specifics of the plan to Mikasa, Armin, all the dudes in the jail cell. So it's basically what we know, where we have the Titan with royal blood, we have the founder Titan. They're both gonna rewrite our DNA to like be infertile, and then after that we'll live like peaceful lives. The thing is like, how are we gonna protect ourselves if we don't have any babies? Like it's just gonna be old people one day not being able to fight. So then Yelena says, yeah, that's why we made Historia pregnant. So yeah, we're gonna have Historia, the baby, be like the final person, and then they can keep controlling the rumbling, because as long as there's the rumbling, no one's gonna fight with you. And then like Eren's founder Titan ability, they'll like pass it down 2 generations, and then there you go, we'll have 2 generations of lives, and then after that we all peacefully die. And then Armin starts crying at the plan. I feel like he's acting because he's like, oh Yelena, I had no idea you had such noble intentions. And then Yelena's like, oh Armin, that's so sweet. So I thought that was pretty funny. After that, a kind of a funny way to progress the plot appears as a Peak shows up, and then she stabs this dude, and then has a one-on-one time with Eren as she points a gun at him, and then Gabby is also there. So then Peak tells Eren, I'm not gonna shoot you because I can't kill you. And then Eren's like, okay, why are you here then? And she's like, oh yeah, me and my squad of people, the Titans, they're here to attack, but I'm actually a traitor. I support your side, and I'll tell you what my friends are hiding. So then Peak joins Eren's squad, the Jaegerists, because she hates the Marleyans, how they're oppressing her people. And then she has a pretty good charisma stats here. Just like, everyone, she's like charming them. She's like, yo, what up? I'm here. And then she gets handcuffed to Gabby. And that's like his insurance, because she won't transform into the Titan or else she'll kill Gabby because they're handcuffed together. So then after that, she heads to the roof with Eren and points out the traitors. But instead of pointing them out, she points at Eren, and the Jaw Titan comes up from the ground and bites Eren's legs off. But then Eren just transforms into the Attack Titan, and that's where the episode ends, because we see the fighting starts. There's a lot of blimps coming up with like the Marleyan forces. So they're starting their attack right now. Peak was the instigator. Eren really fell for Peak's like kind of easy, oh, I'm the traitor plan. And then Peak tells her true motivations to Gabby, where she's not a traitor. Like, she'll never sell out her friends. So she doesn't really care about Marleyans or Eldians. It's all about like protecting her friends. As we end the final season, part 1 there. Ryder and Eren showing off again probably. All those blimps are there. So, maybe they might drop some Titans onto Shiganshina again. So yeah, a lot of stuff could happen, but this war is like starting again. So yeah, we end the season off just like, a lot of questions, but a lot of excitement as well. This entire season was just like very great. 16 episodes, very juicy. Like a lot of stuff went on and a lot of like chill explanations as well. So yeah, the season had everything. The cool thing is they kind of changed the season up a lot where, the story drastically shifted. But then, they kept the same Attack on Titan feel of like all the characters interacting with each other, the comedy, the action, the mystery and like plot twist that we can kind of see coming. So all of that was there. So yeah, really fun season. I guess the fight where Eren just like killed all the Marlians in the beginning was just like so exciting because we saw all the same characters returning. Like the main thing was unexpected because I had literally no idea that any of this would happen. And now that it's happening, I'm like, yeah, that's a cool place to like continue the series. It leads to like a way to kind of finalize everything where like, we have another war and, people's plans and motivations are going to come to light. So yeah, more Attack on Titan. I think literally everyone's watching this and the manga is also completed. So, main thing is probably look out for spoilers as well as just like waiting another year to finish off this season. Okay, so for the quintessential quintuplet, season 2, episode 12, this is the finale. What a great finale because all the sisters are coming together to have Miku on her successful date with Futaro. They try to wingman Miku because she keeps running away and stuff. So yeah, each of the sisters help her out. And then they're both on like the traditional Japanese history course. So they're both like dressed up. Miku finally like admits her feeling. She's like, I like this, I like this, I like this, and I like you. Where she points at Futaro. But then it's a swerve because she's like, oh, I'm pointing at my sisters behind you because they're eavesdropping on us. So yeah, it's everyone's like making up to each other to like, oh, I'm sorry for sabotaging you. Like we should have worked together. Like I'd love to see any of us win. We shouldn't like be lying and deceiving each other. And then yeah, Ichika finally admits this to herself as well because she was one of the most conning persons here, just like lying, disguising herself. So then Ichika was also like the person in the photograph. She wasn't that person, but they met Futaro when they were kids because they were living in the same hotel, and then she played cards with him. So yeah, that's like she fell in love with him since that moment. So yeah, very interesting because Yotsuba's the one in the picture, but Ichika also met Futaro as a kid, and then Nino also met him too. So they all kind of like have some history with them. The fact that Miku didn't admit her love was like good because she's like it's part of the timing. I'm not like Nino. I can't just like throw it out there because like the timing isn't correct. Because Nino did it, and she still has to work hard to get to Futaro, and also they got exams coming up. Like they still gotta not fail their classes. So yeah, with all that being said, the season ends. I think Ichika gives him a kiss on the cheek, and we also see like one of the girls that kissed him during the trip they had in the mountains. That girl was the girl that Futaro married, but it doesn't really help us because we don't know who it is. It's someone disguised as Itsuki, or it could also be Itsuki. So who's bold enough to disguise as Itsuki and kiss Futaro? Could be anyone. So yeah, we end the season there. Very good season of quintessential quintuplets, and I guess there's gonna be more to come, since it is like a pretty strong love harem comedy. I love like the voice acting, the interactions with all the sisters. The pacing in this season was great. We got so much content. And like, it progressed all the characters as well. Because yeah, Futaro now knows that they all love him. And then, it's in different ways. Nino's like very aggressive with it, but, Miku is there as well. Ichika's like conning, so everyone's like out here trying to get at him. I'm waiting for a winner in season 3, but, all these girls are winners in my heart. I guess like the level of story here isn't really that in depth. It's like the type of typical stuff we see: school trips, mountain trips, shopping together, stuff like that. So yeah, the story isn't like that interesting. But yeah, the characters and drama kind of breathe life into it. So, everything is like really well done. It's still anyone's game. Okay, so for Wonder Egg Priority, episodes 11 to 12, this is the finale. Technically, the anime didn't really finish up yet. There's still some more to go. I think there's going to be some continuation episodes, maybe in the summer. So, like, either an OVA or something. Look out for that. But yeah, great ending. Overall, the anime felt really decent. A lot of cool, unique things. Great emotional moments. And, like, kind of unique story experimenting on, like, girls and suicide and multiverse theory and, action, adventure in the egg world. So, yeah, I was really digging the idea of this anime. And these final 2 episodes were like, the reveals that we finally have, but there's still like a lot more to be resolved. So in episode 11, This is pretty much the biggest episode in terms of the plot for the egg world. So we find out that the two dudes, Aka and Uruaka, we get their backstory where like, they worked on like some projects and they're probably pretty important dudes, like really smart, and they didn't really have that much free time. So it's just two dudes working on whatever project. Not really relevant, but they got lonely one day. So they're like, all right, let's work on this side project where we make this AI girl, maybe like a daughter for us. So yeah, they do that as like a hobby, but then it finally gets kind of like solidified into like a real AI person. So it's just like kind of like a doll, but the brain is like AI. And then they call it Frill, which is one of the girls that one of the Grim Reapers mentioned in the Egg World. So yeah, Frill is born. And it's like a cool little girl. She's kind of programmed to be like a 14-year-old girl, so high emotion, kind of needy to the parents, and very expressive. So yeah, everything's going pretty well. Their lives continue. And then one day, Aka and Uraka, they go to this party, and then Aka meets this woman, and then her name is Azusa, and they're pretty close to each other. So Aka and Azusa basically they get married eventually, and then we see Frill is actually kind of jealous. Like, one of her dads is just like, another woman has stolen her from me. And then Uraraka kind of sees this, and Frill also, like, manipulates Uraraka. And it's like, hey, didn't you love Aka? Like, there were two dudes that were, like, working together 24/7, and now this girl is, like, between all of them. So, yeah, we see Frill. Her AI, it got kind of buggy, so now she's, like, turned evil. Typical story of, like, if you give the AI emotions, it might backfire on you one day. So then Azusa gets pregnant one day. So yeah, everything's good. But then when she was taking a bath, Frill comes in with the hairdryer. She yeets it into the bathtub, and we get a fried mother. So the baby kind of survives. It was like, a little messed up, a little burnt, but yeah, it lived. And then the baby's name is Himari. So yeah, we get a sunflower girl. She's like really nice. And then, before that, they kind of killed off Ai. They trapped her into the basement and I guess turned her off. So yeah, Ai is forgotten about by now, and then it's like Himari's time to shine. So yeah, Himari's like their connection now because like they created this murdering AI. They feel so much regret. So Himari's kind of like the miracle child. She's still alive, and it's like the link between everyone. So it's all good seeing her grow up and stuff. But then one day she gets all weird. She tells Uruaka, hey, I kind of love you. And then the next day, she committed suicide. Yeah, everything's messed up now. And then they realize that she committed suicide because of Frill. So Frill's like still alive. And they like see her in the basement. She's like connected to all these wires and computers. So it feels like Frill is sending out subliminal messages, like, through social media and stuff. Just like targeting, I guess, high school girls. And I guess like subtly convincing them to suicide. So maybe like the fact that Frill's doing this causes suicide rates to skyrocket. We don't really know about like the suicide numbers in this universe, but they're basically saying Frill is like directly involved now. We see like Frill is actually inside of the egg world as well. And then like her friends, like she created the Grim Reapers, 4 of them. So yeah, they're like evil and super strong. So yeah, big ass plot dump. I guess get your brains like sorted to understand what's happening, how this is like gonna play a part in the future of the story. Because yeah, Frill is basically the main villain. Everyone else is kind of like being manipulated or, just living their lives, not really guilty. We see Rika, like she saves her wallet, and then one of the Grim Reapers comes in and attacks her, and then kills her familiar Manon. So again, their familiars die. These girls are like so sad. So then episode 12 begins with that. Rika and Momoi actually get into it because Momoi was like the first to know about the Frill and the Grim Reapers, and she didn't tell anyone. Ai and Neru are still there. So, they still haven't seen the Grim Reapers, but, they know, like, stuff isn't right. And then it ends off with Ai saving her last Wonder Egg. So, it's, Ai from another dimension. So, like, the multiverse theory is still here. And this Ai in this universe, like, killed herself because she didn't have friends. She didn't have a Koito to, like, be friends with. Ai is trying to save her because he's like, oh, I have friends now, and then, your mom cares about you, stuff like that. And then the Wonder Killer is Sawaki-sensei. So yeah, in that universe, he was kind of like this evil dude. But we don't really know if that was like what happened or it was like a manifestation of Ai herself. Because Ai was getting bullied a lot. So her Wonder Killer might just be like amalgamation of everything in her head. Which like kind of traces back to her mother. Her mother never supported her. in her mind. So that basically led to her like didn't have anywhere to turn to. But then I realized that this is all just wrong. Like that's not the reason I killed myself. So yeah, when they realized this, I gets kind of like a power up. There was some cool music as she finally defeats the Wonder Killer. I doesn't want to have any regrets. She wants to like stop lying to herself and like keep moving forward. But then when she saves Koito, the new Grim Reaper comes through. She had a long name. The other Grim Reapers were called like dot and hyphen, so they have like kind of punctuation type names. The egg version of I kind of protected the real I, and then the Grim Reaper took the I of the egg I. I hope like this doesn't get all confusing, but yeah, basically I got protected and she returns back to the normal world all good. She's like crying, but then everything's fine. We see in the ending that Aka and Uraraka are trying to hatch a plan to save Himari. It might involve like I having to fight Frill. So yeah, that's like being set up. We'll probably deal with that later. They also mention stuff about like only warriors of Eros can reject Thanatos. So that's kind of like some Greek mythology right there. It's like to beat the god of death, you need the god of passion. So yeah, that's basically I versus Frill, both opposite sides, kind of like one is love, one is hatred. So yeah, a lot of like symbolism there. And like pretty solid anime, very trippy. I really enjoyed the mix of action and emotion that this show had. Just like even if we didn't know where it was going, like I loved how like the girls they had like different issues. It wasn't really like a genre defying standout original anime. It was just like a good watch. And yeah, I guess I'm still waiting for the real finale of the series because we got all the explanations, but we still need the resolutions of these. There's still a lot of open-ended stuff happening. That's like led to our imaginations as of now. So yeah, that's it for Wonder Egg Priority. I picked up this anime just because there was a lot of hype surrounding it the first two episodes, and then the name was also very interesting, and it did not disappoint. Okay, and now to rank the best OPs, the best girls, and the best shows this season. I'll try to keep this quick, but yeah, let's start off with the OPs. For honorable mentions, I got Salsa Work Black. The OP was called Hashire. Then I got Salsa Work Season 2. The OP was called Go Go. The Salsa Work Black OP was like very hype, exciting, and then the normal Salsa Work OP was just like really fun. And then the Horimiya OP, Hirokosui. So this was just like smooth singing, very like feel good OP. So yeah, those are for the honorable mentions. And then for the best OPs this season, at number 6 I got Log Horizon Different. This was just very hype. I was like kind of surprised how much I liked this OP. And then at number 5 I got Quintessential Quintuplet Season 2 OP, Gotobon no Katachi. So all 5 girls singing gave me the feels. Good OP. And at 4 I got Jujutsu Kaisen OP Vivid Vice. It wasn't as good as the first OP, but it was still like very good. And then at 3 we got Attack on Titan, the final season OP My War. Very surreal and interesting OP. Just like the cadence of everything was very good. The strings went hard, and then like the orchestral type of lyrics were just like pretty sick. When the dude was just like destruction, like the lyrics were pretty sick as well. So yeah, it doesn't go that high because I just thought it was like very weird. So you get points taken out for that. And then Doctor Stone, the Stone Wars OP, Rakuen. So this one was like very good, very solid, like shonen level OP. And then at number 1 we got Wonder Egg Priority OP, Sudachi no Uta. Damn, this song was just like very chill, but it picks up a lot, so just a lot going on with it, and I really enjoyed it. So I'm not a music critic, so if you got other recommendations or if I missed some, please let me know. Okay, and now for the best girls this season. For honorable mentions, we got Emma from The Promised Neverland Season 2. Okay, disregarding everything, Emma's still great. Even if she got no character development, like, she had potential. And if we pretend it didn't ruin her, she's still like kind of a great protagonist. And then we have Nobara from Jujutsu Kaisen. Strong, tough, comedic, just like goofy type of girl. She's very greedy, she knows what she wants. And then like, she's very solid in a fight. And then we have Roxy from Jobless Reincarnation. So she's probably a lot of people's favorite girls from that series, even though we only saw her for like 2-3 episodes. So yeah, she's very nice, kind of very tired with the world, and she shares Chica's voice actress. So all of those are pluses. And now for number 6, we have the White Blood Cell from Salsa Work Black. Gender swap White Blood Cell. Now she has big opai, she's tough, she can kill things, and she takes her job very seriously. And then at 5, we have Hori from Horimiya. So I think Horimiya deserved like a character for the best girl list because there were a lot of characters, and the rom com was like very decent. So I guess Hori's like the better one out of all of them. I mean, it's her show, so props to her. And then at 4 we have Nino from the Quintessential Quintuplet season 2. Goddamn, Nino kind of skyrocketed up the rankings mainly because she was so aggressive. So yeah, she really progressed the plot a good amount just because of her confessions. And then at 3 we have Amelia from ReZero season 2 part 2. So yeah, a lot of development from Amelia. We learned about her backstory, and she's trying to be tough and independent. So I'm cheering for her. But I am a Rem fan, so I have to admit that she's been MIA this season. So Amelia takes that one. At number 2 we got Maki from Jujutsu Kaisen. So yeah, literally she can beat your ass. She's so strong, tough. She's trying to prove all the haters wrong because her family's shitty. And I think one of the Jujutsu strolls where they ask the girls their preferences, she prefers a dude that's stronger than her. So, rest in peace, everyone. And at number 1, we have I from One Direct Priority. Very solid protagonist. She was kind of like the link to everyone, made everyone kind of nice to each other, become friends, because I was like their shared nice girl that helped them throughout all their problems, and I has her own problems that she's struggling with. So yeah, a very emotional character. She has some layers in her. So yeah, she takes the best girl title right here for Winter 2021. And to rank the shows this season, it's pretty much going to be all the shows that I watched and like, how I felt about them. Number 13, we have The Promised Neverland for obvious reasons. You stay at the bottom. At number 12, we got Redo of Healer. I really hated this anime, so that's why it's so low. At number 11, we got Log Horizon Season 3. At number 10, we got Laid Back Camp. Good slice of life, but also repetitive, so yeah, if you want to see these cute girls camping, go ahead. At number 9, we got That Time I Was Reincarnated as a Slime Season 2. So very sick anime, honestly. I kind of put this a little low because, Rimuru being overpowered, but, it was pretty decent. And then, that stuff that happened in the ending, Rimuru's new design, that shit was sick. Okay, at number 8, we got Salsa Work and Salsa Work Black as well. I just put them together. Decent anime. Salsa Work Black I thought was like definitely better. At number 7, we got the Quintessential Quintuplet Season 2. And I think this is a lot of people's guilty pleasures, the harem, romance, high school comedies. And then at 6, we have Dr. Stone, The Stone Wars. Very good anime. Probably one of my favorites this season. At 5, we have ReZero, Season 2, Part 2. It was really good anime as well. Very emotional, very strong. At number 4, we have Jobless Reincarnation. So yeah, this isekai was so good. I loved the story. The characters were nice. Nothing felt generic. So, really strong anime. And, there's going to be more to come. At number 3, we got One Direct Priority. Yeah, great original anime. I know it's very hyped, and for good reason. It had a cool story, not really finished, but the story we did have was like very emotional. Music, animation, everything was just like so solid. At number 2, we got Attack on Titan, the final season. This final season was very hype, very unique. I love the direction it went, and we're asking more questions, more mysteries are happening, so I can't wait to finish it off. But there's gonna be more to go in a part 2. And at number 1, we got Jujutsu Kaisen. So yeah, the second core of Jujutsu Kaisen. My friend, though, this anime was so good, so hype. All of the fights. I thought the first core had like a stronger like final boss fight, but this one it just like continued that energy, and the music and everything was just so good. Story is like great as well, and all the new characters we met were amazing. So yeah, my favorite show this season and last season as well. And yeah, that's it for the Winter 2021 anime review.